but it says 4 o'clock. So whether we got the giggles or not, we got to go. It says 4 o'clock. So it's Russell and Hunter's the
Oh, my goodness.
Brewmance. Holy mackerel. That was a fun one in show prep. Hi, how you doing? Hope you had a great weekend. This is Rob right there. I'm Mike Russell. Appreciate y'all hanging with us as usual. And the big news that we totally were not joking about. Now, one little tiny bit right before the show started was the big guy, the big man, El Jefe, Iran, is dead. He has assumed room temperature, at least if the smoldering is over. He has assumed room temperature, and after having his helicopter, because, that's how you travel over there, a helicopter flew in high fog into a mountain. I don't know if we've heard this story before, maybe with a very dead nuts ballot Hall of Famer, Kobe Bryant, but, the guy's dead. This is going to not something to poke fun at like I've been doing all day, because I'm completely just anyway. This is going to shake some things up. I mean, even you look at the State Department, you look at everybody is just wondering, okay, now what the heck is going to happen? This is not, unless, like JFK, it was pre-planned.
And this is one of those weird moments where it happens at a weird time, and you're going to go, I think I've realized this, Mike. I'm open to all possibilities because I don't know nothing. Turns out there's a lot of information protected. Turns out this could be shenanigans. Turns out it might not be, and Iran may use it as shenanigans. I just don't know, but that's what makes me a little bit concerned about the people that we put in powerful positions to make decisions, because what kind of decisions are they going to make in the aftermath of this? Just hope, like, is everything fine? Is everything okay? Benji, Bibby, Netanyahu, you good?
Don't worry. Hey, Lloyd Austin has already come out and said, absolutely nothing. We had nothing to do with it. Just in case any of y'all wondering, any of y'all conspiracy theorists out there, we had nothing to do with this, which makes me think what? Well, damn it, we did it.
Yep.
That's my first thought. And the arrogance and the narcissism that is behind any of these bozos moves of late, and I'm calling years and years and years. I'm not just saying this administration, just some of the nonsense that comes out of cabinet members, high-ranking officials. They think we're that stupid now. Like, I would say even the dumbest of us, the least of these, so to speak, educationally, is smarter than some of the most brilliant people in history because of these things that we have. You have all of the world's information at your fingertips. We are some pretty damn smart people with these things in our hand. And so we know more than these bozos think we know. We see more than these bozos think we see. And the minute that something happens and the first thing out of their mouth is like a child standing in the kitchen after the vase was broken, wasn't me. I didn't have anything to do with it. That's a knee-jerk reaction. It's childish, and it seems to be standard with these knuckleheads.
Well, and I think that is, again, there's so much communication now. It travels so fast, it's harder to figure out what's true. So as soon as this plane crash happens, where's your mind go? It goes where Mike went. Who did this?
Yeah.
Because the timing is just bizarre. So there's skirmishes between Israel and Palestinians and Israel's and Iranians. And Israel's already, launched, they defended an attack from Iran, which is not something we've seen ever, right? And now all of a sudden the Iranian president dies in a helicopter accident. You're like, automatically you think that. So they got to come out and say, oh, no, we didn't have to do with it. But it would be funny if they came out and said, yeah, that was us.
Yeah.
We did it because we're telling you the truth. And, well, we didn't like that guy and we didn't want him to live anymore. So we messed up his helicopter.
It would be the best Trump press conference ever.
Well, earlier today, our forces carried out the greatest attack in U.S. forces history. We are a greater, more stable world now than ever in the history of the galaxy because of me.
Because of me, exactly. Shane Gillis is a comedian who has a great Trump impression. In one of his stand-up specials, Shane Gillis used to be on SNL. He was kicked off for making some off-color jokes.
Yeah. And he went back on SNL and made the same jokes. God love him. Right. I like him. Okay.
Exactly right. He's very funny. So he does a great Trump impression, and he goes, in a sense, he's saying that it's fun to watch Trump because remember when they went in, they did a Navy SEAL raid, they brought the dogs in, and like it was like some terrorist in Yemen or something like that. And Trump comes there and goes, he died like a dog. He cried like a girl. And he just says Trump's words. That's just the way he does it. Like, that's that swagger, right? Trump would come out like, I don't know that we did it, but he died like a punk in the mountains, in the foggy conditions, in the world.
Died like a female dog, if you know what I mean. Female dog. Whining like a little female dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Greatest ever. Okay.
Yeah. But that would have been, I fine. And again, Lloyd Austin could have said, yeah, dummies. Yeah, it was us, and walked off stage. No one, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. We'd been, all right. They must have had a reason. Well, okay, sure, cool. Good. And this is you understand how unstable Iran is right now. And maybe that's by design, but I mean, what's happening now is going to be, I can out terror the next guy. Pick me. Watch me. I can out terror everyone. I have, like, head of whatever military, the guard or whatever they call it over there. And watch me launch a nuke. What? Pick me. It's so unstable and so nope, don't like what I'm seeing over there one little tiny bit.
And this is one of the reasons why I surface level pay attention now. I kind of unplugged because my big challenge is I don't trust the people in these positions. To go back to that, Mike, that's what makes me more nervous than anything else. So for me, I'm just like, okay, how is it going to impact me? Well, I'm probably above age to be drafted. I'll be 46 in a couple weeks. So how does it really impact me? Well, there might be some trade, some oil, but there's definitely going to be a lot of dead people either way.
Yeah.
And that's what I really think about in these situations is how many innocent humans have to die because powerful people, often rich, often heads of state or terrorist organizations like Hamas, how many people do they have to kill before we go, maybe we should try something else? Because all we're getting is death and destruction while people are running off making millions of dollars. Because those Hamas guys that run Hamas are millionaires and billionaires. And they don't even live in Palestine, Gaza. They're out in Qatar, probably in mansions, probably drinking on the weekends, even though you're not supposed to.
You're supposed to drink on the weekends?
You're not supposed to drink at all, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a weekend thing, Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
so I have a buddy, Travis, who lived in Kuwait for a little while. After he served his time in the army, he worked for a defense contractor, and he lived in Kuwait. He says, you're not supposed to drink, but if you know people, you can drink. And I'm like, just like America.
I wonder what other religions here in the United States do the same thing. Let's see. I'll just get us in trouble. If this camera was on prior to the show, I'd have been in a lot of trouble. But now I'm just going to get us in a little bit of trouble. A little bit of trouble is fine. If there were any political advantage to this, it would have been already announced. They would have already had old Bones up there stumbling through the teleprompter about some talking about corn pop and how he took him out too, and so it wouldn't surprise me if we had a hand in it, but if we did, I think there would be one side or the other taking credit already.
Or is that the inner circle where they take credit and they're high-fiving each other like, yeah, I got away with another one. We created another narrative. Yeah, buddy, let's do this thing.
Basically what I thought about, this was yesterday, and I was excited to come on the show because I want to kind of flesh it out with you here and just see what you think of this. Because what we're in right now, media-wise, politically, is this emotional and mental, even ideological shell game, where what matters to us is under hat number 2. Okay? And there's 1, 2, 3 hats. And what matters to us under that? This is what matters to you. You're going to see. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. And they all go dancing around. And you point to it. That's the one. And then they lift it up and it's like, oh, Biden stumbled on a teleprompter and fell off his bike. Oh, sorry. You don't really need to know what's going to happen. Oh, okay. Let's try it again. Number 2. Remember hat number 2. Better around. And they pop it up. And it's, oh, sorry, it doesn't matter to you. Trump said something silly outside of court. Yeah. All right, here we go. Back to it again. And you never get what you want because you're never given what you actually need and want to talk about and actually hear about. So when we're talking about the Iranian president dying, majority of anything you see on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, Newsmax, all of them, how it benefits Trump or Biden. That's it. Not what does this do to your gas prices? What's this going to do does this jack supply chain at all? What does this do to the stock market? How's the market reacting? Nope. Does this benefit Donald John Trump or Joseph Robinette Biden? And that's why Rob and I, so y'all, we want you to know what's happening in June. We're basically going to focus on things that matter and or are fun. That's what we are going to do. Things that help you, that grow you, things that matter in your life, and real stories that are really happening, and things that impact us. And really staying away from Joe didn't know which way to go off stage again today. What did KJP say to it? Doesn't matter to us, doesn't matter to you, and it doesn't impact us at all.
Well, because it doesn't change. And I think that you're onto something, Mike, is that anytime you sniff that hat number 2, they do that bait and switch. And they give you the same line because they know that that's where your emotion is. But how many times can you see Biden stumble and go, okay, I don't need to see it anymore. I get it. He's the president until at least January 20th of next year. So what happens in November? That's what matters, right? I know I'm not voting for Biden. I'm still not convinced of voting for Trump. RFK might get my vote. Libertarian may get my vote. I may leave the presidential section blank, just to be straight with you. I, like Mike, I am not in it for candidates or parties anymore. I'm in it for all of us collectively. Because I understand something as I get older, Mike, and this ties into so many of the moral debates we're having in this country, abortion, whatever. I have a belief system in which I live my life. For the most part, I try not to harm anybody. I don't steal anything. I'm not going to steal Mike's F-150. I'm not going to break into his house. So I have a nice center to where I live. But by no means do I think that my belief should be the law and that you should be mandated under penalty of jail to believe what I believe, because freedom is weird and comes in different forms and sizes. And either one of these parties is not really interested in freedom. You have all the evidence you've ever needed. Republicans don't care about freedom. Democrats don't care about freedom. In different ways is what they fight and try to mandate and try to restrict people's beliefs and ideas. So I think to add to what Mike is saying is, looking at this country from a American people standpoint first, not a Republican and I'm a Republican, or Democrat or I'm a Democrat, because that's what's ruining the country, quite honestly.
Right. And look, and talk about like the freak out du jour is this. I don't know if you heard it. It was interesting. A Kansas City Chiefs kicker was giving a commencement speech at a private Catholic school. Kind of like, okay, I'm going to play to my audience, right? And he brings that, and I'm paraphrasing, where, the accomplishments of your job or your degree or something will pale in comparison to you. Basically, ladies, staying home and having the babies. Okay, that's basically what the crux of it was, or at least what was taken out in the media, ran with it and said, okay, this guy just told everybody to stay home in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant and send us back to Warden June Cleaver. Okay, whatever. Nuclear family really is what he was getting at, but he was talking to basically a home crowd. It was, again, a private Catholic school. So why would I even care that is his thought and feeling, and he voiced it? It calls to the NFL to kick him out of the league. He's the most accurate kicker there is. No. Because that's how I feel. That's how I was raised. That's how my wife and I are raised in our family. And I really hope that for you. I wish what I have had through my life is given to you. I hope you have the same treasures that I feel are above my NFL salary. That's all it was. Freak out, calls for this guy's head. And then he goes on an interview and actually doubles down on it. And I'm impressed by him saying that. But here's the deal. Bottom line is, didn't impact me. Didn't at all. Didn't impact Rob. Didn't impact Grizz. Dell. Nope. You guys probably saw the headline and were like, well, whatever. Not, because keeps us divided and keeps us on a path of being a really crappy country if we stay on this.
No, that's exactly right, because it's very clear. Republicans have had a chance. Let's just use the last 20 years. Let's just go to modern history starting at 9/11. 9/11, a fundamental shift in how America operates and how they spend your money. I just saw a number the other day, Mike. It was absurd. I can't even remember what it was. The amount of daily spending in Afghanistan for 20 years. It was $300 million or something a day.
Eh.
Crazy. It might have been 30. I don't know what the exact number was. But the point is, America decided to use those resources, of which we have limited ones, both financial resources and personnel resources with our soldiers and embassy personnel, spies, etc. Put them into this country for 20 years for a net gain of zero. In fact, it was a loss.
Yeah, loss, big loss.
It not only was it a loss, embarrassment for the United States, because we propped up Afghanistan for 2 decades and then just let it fall and left all the equipment behind because we didn't care. In the rush, 13 U.S. service members were blown up by a suicide bomber, as well as 100 or so other people that were trying to get out of Afghanistan because of America's failure. But we somehow are not looking at those 20 years collectively and saying, that was a collective decision made by Republican and Democrat presidents. And the end result was the same. So if we're still picking our side and thinking our side has all the answers, what answers? Because the debt is up, because we spent so many of those resources in Afghanistan. Collectively, right? From George Bush to Joe Biden. Every president in between did it. Every president okayed it. Every Congress in between, Republican Congresses, Democrat Congresses. That's just one example. And it didn't solve any problems. The women of Afghanistan, I was just talking to intern Beans a couple of minutes ago about hope and how hope gives you this big flame, but sometimes the flame runs out because hope is snatched away from you. That's what we did to Afghanistan, but it's not like in America where maybe your hope, you got a job, right? Oh, okay, it's another job to get. In Afghanistan, there's no education for girls to get.
Nope.
So that's the policy of Republicans and Democrats together that gives you the result that we're in right now with 35 trillion, 20 million, people that aren't certified to be here, we should say. We've got inflation out the wazoo. Gas price is still $4 a gallon plus in Phoenix. So you have all these problems. And we're still arguing about which side is better. Neither.
Yeah. Right. And why? It's funny. A friend of mine got some book about, how to be a fascist or something stupid like that. It's basically the book just bagging Trump. and I was just, it's crazy. It is. I mean, and she's giddy to own it. And so I thought, okay, I looked at my girlfriend. I said, okay, I really marvel that 330 million Americans, half of those, say 100 million Americans, freak out at the word Trump. That this man lives rent-free in their head. That this man controls their activities. This man controls their thoughts, their conversations that they have, what they watch and what they don't watch. One man, one out of 135 million, one. Just has this amazing and overwhelming power, and is now, before so just as a brand, is now his own economy. The Trump economy has nothing to do with, I created the most jobs of any president, the Sleepy Joe didn't. Nope. Books, TV shows, hosts. I mean, people have made careers just on either praising or bashing one man out of 335 million Americans. Mind blown. It almost daily fascinates me that this is going on.
It is pretty wild. And let's bring it back to the kicker, the Kansas City Chiefs kicker, Harrison Butker again, just for a second, because, again, this is what's happened to the media. All they're looking for, they're like snipers. They just look everywhere to find any sniff of controversy. And then the controversy, if it is a famous person for one thing they said that supposedly we're supposed to disagree with, becomes the big controversy. When, look, I didn't agree with some of the things he said. I have a different way that I live my life. And I would advocate that Harrison Butker actually make the case as to why this is a better life rather than judging you if you live a different life. Because that's where we always get all wrong is I'm right, you're wrong. You need to be like me or you're going to hell or you're an outcast or you shouldn't be allowed to vote or you should be thrown in jail. That's where we really miss out those opportunities. Because if you're going to come at me and say, this is how my wife and I did it. I met her and she was like, I just want to have babies and I just want to take care of the babies. Awesome. If that is a life for you, let me tell you about the benefits of this and explain those benefits and why that life is so amazing and great. Because then you're like, oh, okay. You might get someone interested in that life. Oh, that's possible. I didn't think that was possible. Doesn't matter whether anyone else agrees with it or disagrees with it ultimately.
But then here come the click. So NPR, I think it was NPR. NPR came out with the 5 things you need to know about Isabella Butker, or whatever her name is, like his wife. I'm like, what the hell? She's just like, how'd it go at the commencement speech, honey? He's like, well, you're famous now. Hey, you are known as June Cleaver, and you're the editor. Exactly. That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, June Cleaver is fantastic. But anyway, it reminded me of an interview I saw with a guy who did I think it was a 7-year study on, and they had to go so it was more than 7 years. So they had to go pre-Trump. So are conservative or progressive couples happier? Are children of conservatives or progressives happier? And it was overwhelming. Wasn't even close. It was a rout on both levels. Conservatives happier than progressives. It was just their happiness rating was off the charts compared to the progressives. So the interviewer asked the guy doing the study, said, okay, so you lived this, you were in this. And of course I'm paraphrasing, I'm using my own words. You were in this. Why are you still a liberal? Why are you still a progressive? His answer was, and this whole pack mentality crap, is that he's like, well, I'm in academia. Like all of my peers are liberal. Like I can't just be conservative. And the interviewer was dumbfounded by this. He goes, the numbers. And you're like, I choose to be less happy. I choose to be on the side that we statistically are less happy. And we're talking about 2,000 plus. So Rob and I have a standard of people doing any studies. Like if 100 people surveyed, not even close. Like if you're in the thousands and it's years long, we got you. So you have the stats, you have the data. Nope, I can't because my friends will laugh at me. It is the most blinding thing I've seen in a minute.
Well, and it's everywhere, which this is why I question reality. And the media created reality. I was watching a documentary on Netflix. Michael loved this. What do I do? Wake up on Saturday mornings. I watch a documentary about police power in America.
Here we go.
But see, here's the problem with this documentary. It's literally called Power. I would tell you don't watch it because everything in it, you already know. I was waiting for some mea culpa, some way to solve this problem. All it was more history about how policing in America traces back to the slave days. And it's true. It's factual.
Sure.
I've known that for a long time. I didn't need to know that. So I didn't gain anything out of this. And that's the frustration I have is that there's a lot of talk, not a lot of action. A lot of talk about doing the right thing and fixing the ills of society, but not a lot of fixing going on. And now we're running out of the resources to be able to fix those ills of society that were created by the government. So now we have to think outside the box and try to solve these problems on our own because that's ultimately what the government has left us to do, is that we're out here on our own. So in watching this documentary, I again wonder, because one of the people that was interviewed in it makes this point about how people's views of the police are shaped by media coverage, by cop friends, whatever your interaction is. But that's not a really deep depth of knowledge of what it's like to be a cop. It's not a realistic view of what a police department does on a day-to-day basis. So if you think cops are all out there shooting black people, well, yes, that happens, but not as often as you probably believe. And cops probably have more great interactions with people than not. Nobody cares about those.
Absurd amount more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about great interactions because every time I've been pulled over, I could say, "Guy, I was a really nice cop," but now I got a $250 ticket in my hand. Yeah, so I don't know about great.
That's true.
How about
non-violent? Let's put
non-confrontational. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, in going through and putting onto backup hard drives because I like you, and I can say like you easily because I know what's happening to you if you have an iPhone. Your iCloud is almost full. Your iCloud is full. 4,000 videos and pictures of Rob and I, the Brewmance style, going through that. I actually found one of the instances I had with one cop here out in G-Town, out in the West Valley, that I've had. I've had several interactions with him, none of them good. It's like the guy's stalking me. I don't like this guy. He's an absolute creep. He's and no one in the department likes him. I actually went to court to fight one of the citations, and the judge said, "Who did this?" He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, dude, don't fight this. Just take it. Just take your traffic school, buddy. Don't. He will lawyer up." Like this guy is like just an ass. And so that's how my view of policing here is out in the West Valley. I look at really cool guys that are driving by in a cool cop car. I'm like, yeah, you're probably officer.
No, but it's having that understanding that your perspective might not be a real perspective or a full perspective. It's a partial perspective, especially if it's third hand, if it's through an internet channel or media, because it's just how our brains work. And becoming aware of that, Mike, I just think it just opens up my mind going back to these possibilities. Like if you told me in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s that it was possible the CIA had something to do with JFK's death, I'd be like, nah, man, the government wouldn't do that. Now I'm like, actually, the track record of the United States government leads me to believe that it is certainly possible that the CIA, which we know they helped at the very least, how much did they help? I don't know. Some documents remain classified, probably because of that very reason.
The White House actually said that very reason.
Well, yeah, and I remember, I think I just heard a Trump quote about it the other day. If you knew what I knew, you'd be pissed or something like that.
Yes. But that's, I mean, okay, so I mean, think about that. I mean, Rob and I have no problem walking up to people and just chatting and asking questions. I actually learned that from Rob. And if you were at a bar back in the 80s, and you're walking up to Bill Cosby and OJ and they're chatting it up, and you say, could you never in a million years would you think?
No.
Never in a million years would you think that those two wonderful icons of American history, of Americana, for the love of God, they're it. OJ, yes, it hurts to run the airports and all that, what noise, and Bill Cosby, you never ever would have suspected that. But now those two are reasons why, probably some of the early reasons why we trust nobody.
Well, and you look at how we treat fame, and this is such a fantastic idea, Mike, that you just brought up, because it works in politics too. Because let's say there was a person who was the CEO of a mid-sized company, but he knew how to make decisions. Maybe it's maybe she's got great results, knows how to manage, knows how to run, knows how to inspire, ran for president, gets 6 votes. Because no, there has to be a level of fame to be president of the United States. I mean, Donald Trump's a perfect example of that. He wasn't even a politician, and he became one. And then the other side, it's the royal families. Biden has been in politics since, 1972, I think. So he's been a senator. He couldn't even serve as a senator at the very beginning because he wasn't old enough. He had to be 30. He was 29 when he won his election. So that's how long he's been around. He's got some fame around that. And to think that someone famous, because they entertain us, they got to be a good person, because they have PR managers who put stories into the press, and the press is just looking for easy things to cover, and celebrities are easy to cover. So Bill Cosby appears at this event, charity focus, donates $1 million. Oh my God, Bill Cosby's great. Meanwhile, Bill Cosby's actually Bill Cosby, the one Mike was just talking about.
Yeah.
We have enough examples to understand how the information system works. The information system is an economy designed to keep people like Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein and Joe Biden protected, because the media really just wants access to these people. So you have people like Mike and myself who go work in radio. We didn't do it for that reason, but journalists who go work for Entertainment Tonight because they want to interview stars and be around stars. The political media wants to be around people like Joe Biden, John McCain. They just want to hang out and be part of the cool kids club because of how the media looks at fame, right? Because it's something to be admired. It's something to be attained. And when you get there, certain things are off limits. Nobody questions you.
And Dell, of course, that Caitlyn Jenner is proving his entire childhood was a lie. Yes, you're right, buddy. All of it. I mean, you put Caitlyn or Bruce in that bar, and you're like, man, I'm standing next to the greatest athlete alive, the greatest male athlete in history, the Catholic gold medal. Wow, it's him. Box of Wheaties. Here he is, right here. And then he hooked up with the Kardashians, and they made him a woman. Okay, I'm sticking with it. I don't care if you come with me. I'm sticking with that one. The Kardashians are so insufferable and so awful, just so terrible. They turned Bruce Jenner into a woman.
Everything's fake. Everything is fake. I don't know.
I was waiting for some affirmation from my little bro over there. I don't know. He's like, I don't know.
I get what you're saying, right? But I actually think the Caitlyn Jenner story is more real than not, because this is a really dynamic human story of a person who was so driven to win the gold medal at the Olympics in a decathlon. It's like the hardest thing to do in the Olympics. And he wins. And then 30 years later, he's like, well, I don't want to be that person anymore. And he transforms. That's as real as it gets. That's the real journey of a human being as an individual. Do I have to care about it? Maybe my childhood like Del's was a lie.
Yeah.
But it's a transformation of an individual human experience versus what the information networks say about her.
This is where Rob and I differ. One of the several reasons why we're such good friends. We differ in a lot of things. One of them is he would get Caitlyn Jenner in a room, and there would be, the questions deep, thought out, like just dialed in, like she might cry. Rob go Roy Firestone on her. Just go deep, right? All I want to know is that as an avid golfer, what's more distracting, having the male bits or the new additions up top? I want to know what's hindering his swing a little more. That's what I want to know. That's really all I care about.
Love it. Great question. That's a fantastic question.
Well,
just curious. I don't know,
because we want to get to what everyone else wants to know, and I think that I speak for a good portion of the country that, especially this, getting into golf with this, all these funny things happening in the world of golf, and then my son's into golf now. But those are the kinds of things I want to know, and I think many people want to know.
That is true. So when we get to sit down with Caitlyn Jenner, you will definitely hear that question.
I'll just tell him, look, I'm not. Look, this isn't gonna. He's gonna be polite. I might not be. So.
See, again, the yin and the yang, right? That's how we roll, baby. That's how we roll. Like, we like to call it pick and roll, our style. It's NBA, Stockton and Malone. Who sets the pick? Who shoots? Just changes up. Just differs.
Let's go to the ultimate celebrity, and I'm not talking about Oprah. Let's go to the ultimate celebrity. That is Pope Frankie. Pope making some headlines, sitting down for an interview, and I was not impressed. I remember this guy out of the gates coming out, and I was like, I remember Rob and I we would say the Pope is dope, and you haven't had a shirt. And Carrie Dozer got you a shirt, didn't she?
Yes.
It said the Pope is dope.
I totally forgot about that.
That's a rad shirt. I remember her getting that and being so giddy about it. I got this for Rob. I'm like, that is so Rob right there. I just so every kind of Rob. And absolute off the rails. I don't know where this guy's going. He doesn't seem like he has a true north, which is weird for a pope, because he's kind of he zigs and he zags. But maybe that's good. Maybe that's what the world needs. Maybe that's what that dang church needs. A little bit of kind of real human, like, okay, we don't have to, you got to go a little bit this way, maybe a little bit that way. His thoughts on the southern border, it actually just ticked me off. And the reason why is because we talk about things, we want to talk about things that impact us. The Catholic Church as a body, as a mass, we're talking about tens and hundreds of millions of people. It's right below the Muslim faith. And so understand that what he says resonates or is taken as doctrine, is taken as word of God from millions of people. And if those millions of people go along with him and say, you know what, he's right. You know what, an open border, we need to chill out with, worrying about all these migrants coming up and things like that. I'm not a fan. Like, look, buddy, I hate to tell you, but you know what heaven has? A gate and a gatekeeper. There you go. don't tell me.
I'm going to build the wall. We're going to make the Pope pay for it. The Vatican's going to pay for it. It's going to be a papal wall. We're going to go through the papal memorial wall. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I love it. Well, see, the Pope's just offering an opinion.
But that opinion ain't like me and you have an opinion, buddy.
Sure. No,
his opinion is taking his word of God.
But this is where I think is where it gets super interesting, because who do you listen to? Who do you believe? Who's your go-to when it comes to these matters? And you go, well, the Pope said it, I'm in. Is that all it takes to change your mind? Is that all it takes for you as an individual to just give up your own sovereignty and your own brain to think about things and go, yeah, maybe countries do have a right to establish their own borders and have a policy that allows people to come in and come out, whether it's visiting, whether it's longer stays, whether it's work visas, whether it's migration tract, right? Yes, because every country on earth has it, not just America. In fact, I just saw a story this morning about Sweden. Sweden, typically kind of a chill place. Nobody's rabble-rousing. It's one of those countries where they pay high taxes, but they feel like they get good value from their government because it's a country of like 7 million people. Yeah. It's easier to manage than our country. And they love it, except they're having some challenges with migrants. And it's causing some tensions in normally chill Sweden, because when things get a little bit out of balance, people get out of balance. And if you don't manage that correctly, people get upset and people vote certain ways and people get ticked off. And I think there's also that understanding that you just can't take people and drop them in a country and expect everything to be fine. There's not enough jobs. There's not enough economy around that. Nobody, there's all kinds of legal things that you have to go through. So the Pope, I agree with you, Mike, out of bounds. And that's where I start with that is, okay, Pope, stick to running your church, because a lot of y'all Catholics, when I was a Catholic, you covered up some gross, horrible, nasty stuff.
Still doing it.
In my area, yeah.
And so that's the thing is, so Rob and I for years have been telling you, okay, here's what's happening with these migrants. Here's the reality. Here's how many kids have gone missing. And we knew that was happening when they started lining them up at convention centers. They were doing it right under our eyes. I mean, right under our noses. They weren't hiding it. There were 3 major convention centers that were chock full of migrant kids that just went poof and gone. Like, where'd they go? And so the Catholic Church, the head of the Catholic Church, to say, nothing to see here, doesn't seem surprising, does it? In all of the ills that this migrant wave has brought, and they're illegal immigrants. These illegal immigrants that all of them have brought asylum-seeking Mike took us. So they have brought. The Pope's like, guess what? We the Catholic Church been doing that a hot minute. Yeah, we used to tour people down in the dungeons to make sure that they were saying what we told them. Listen, the mafia did not invent the mafia. Okay, you should have seen what we were pulling off. Okay, so when the Pope goes, no, let them in. Yeah, let the atrocities happen. We'll just say it's all for the greater good.
And that again is portraying a portrait of reality, that everyone who's coming is just desiring a job, a better way of life. Yeah. And who wouldn't? I talked to a Lyft driver from Colombia and another from Cuba on a trip to Miami recently, and both were thrilled to be here, even though all they were doing is driving Lyft. Hey, I have so many options. I have so many opportunities. I have plenty of food. Back in their home countries, didn't have any of those. So I get this need for a better life. And even a base level life in America is probably better than a middle class life in many countries, most countries throughout the world. I get all that. But it's still a challenging problem to solve, especially from an organization that has been, in my view, and again, I grew up Catholic, so I can criticize them all I want.
I can too, and I didn't grow up Catholic. I can still criticize.
Exactly. It's just obviously an organization of power and hypocrisy, just like every other powerful organization. And that, I think, is the root of why I stopped caring about how these officials tell me how to live my life. Because even the Pope, who does a lot of great things, he doesn't know everything. He's just the Pope.
No. But at the same time, but that's the thing, though. Millions of people think he does. It really is what it is. What what you say is basically you are the he. Okay, he is the Karine Jean-Pierre of God.
Oh
Is there a better way to put it? He's the mouthpiece of God. He's the Pope. He's the top dog.
Slightly better than our friend.
I would agree with that. Honest, I mean, you put 30 years on this guy, he's going to be more coherent than that. Okay, I told you before the show started, I got in some real trouble. Whew.
Feisty. All right, but here's a question. And Lynn, Grizz, Greg, Rhonda, you guys answer this too. Dell, is this the biggest challenge in America then? Is that many people just don't want to be free thinkers. They just want to be told what to think, and they'll do that. Because this is what happened during the pandemic. I don't know if it was 60%, 50%, 70%, 40%. Just like, okay, whatever they say, I'm going to do. Turns out they lied. Turns out it was about making money. Turns out they violated the First Amendment. Turns out the government did all those things we say we hate when governments do, but we're like, yeah, it's fine. That was a pandemic. That is a big, to me, Mike, this is one of the biggest challenges in America is that for some reason, we don't want to think for ourselves. Because if we thought for ourselves, we would say, I see what they're doing. Going back to your hat trick, Mike, the 3-card Molly trick. I see what you're doing. I see you moving this around, and your sleight of hand is causing me to pay attention to the thing I don't want.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, let's talk about. Well, I want to go back to what you said about just kind of earning out. Basically earning scraping a living together, being the middle class. Because you did bring up middle class. So I'm gonna there's a new report out, and this is from the where are we going here? Okay. Oh, this is a U.S. study. All right. Okay. Individual salaries, what it takes to be considered middle class in your state. Did you see this, Robbie?
I did not click the story. I did see it.
Holy mackerel! All right, let's start with Arizona, shall we? Because we're right here.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, how much do you think it costs to be comfortable? This is what it was to be comfortable. I just have a comfortable living. Like I'm not worried about a bunch. How much does it cost here in the great state of Arizona, the greatest state 48? The greatest in the nation. Which one?
I'm going to guess comfort is going to come around $80,000.
$97,000.
I should have went with my God. It's going to go $100,000.
$7,000. Basically, if you're not making $97K in AZ or 84 in New Mexico, 87 in Texas, 114 in California, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Basically, part of the comfort index was I can put some money aside and I have some money saved for an emergency. You have to make that much money. $100,000 used to be it. I don't think I'll get much disagreement from anybody listening right now. $100,000 used to be your thing, dude. If I can make $100,000 a year, I got to get up there. I got to make $100,000 a year. Then we're good. We're doing it. I got my financial guys going to be working out my retirement. I'm going to be maybe investing in another property, and I got I'm putting away a little bit away for the kids for college. And we're set. Got the cars paid off. The house is going to be paid off in 5-10 years. We got this at $100,000. Now you're just past in the state of Arizona and under in the state of California, living paycheck to paycheck.
Crazy.
I'm absolutely stunned by this. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but I was like, mother of all things, this is absolutely crazy.
Well, I know that our inflation at least was 23% in Phoenix, Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Highest in the nation, maybe second highest in the nation, other than small place in Alaska, maybe. But you have to think about it in the context of the same stuff you used to buy 4 years ago takes you 23% more money to buy the same stuff.
Sure.
Your money's not as worth as much. So I was telling Mike, I went to the store and I put chicken back because it's too expensive. Granted, it was the fancy chicken. I'm like, I'm not buying this fancy chicken.
Nope.
It's that realization when you check the prices that you're in a losing situation, and it doesn't seem like anybody wants to help you get out of it, because since it's politics, we have our 3-card Molly. We have to move the hat around to make you mad about the end of democracy instead of the prices that you're paying and the squeeze that you're facing that was caused by the same people who are making decisions today about this country. And that's why decisions to me, Mike, are the most important things, not what they say on the campaign trail. There are fancy speeches that they don't even write. What matters is what happens with the decisions that they make and how they impact you and the world. And the decisions that were made over the last 3 or 4 years should cause us all want to throw everyone out of those positions because those decisions were awful.
And by the way, and I don't know what kind of pills you have in your vitamin drawer over there, buddy, but it's 3-card Monty.
3-card Monty.
Monty.
What
kind of pills you're going with?
Well, I did just get back from Vegas.
Oh, how did you do? Lost wages. How did you do?
I did not play.
Didn't play at all.
No, I don't really. I'm good. It doesn't do
Okay.
anything for me, so I don't do it. I would like to play craps at some point, but I always forget the rules. I learn them, then I don't play it for like a year, and then I forget.
We played together at a Christmas party one time, and we were getting a master's class. We should be rolling in right now. Rob and I should be. I mean, Rob's already unbuttoned the top button of his thing. Rob should have some gold chains up in there, and we should. Yeah, I should just. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, put some.
I should be broadcasting. I should be broadcasting right now directly from my hunting ranch. But I forgot everything. I forgot everything. Maybe it was the alcohol. Most likely it was the alcohol.
Could have been. Or just our brains. I don't know.
But what about that though? Okay, so I come from a family. Y'all better know the ABCs of me. I come from a family. My dad bankrupted us playing the ponies. When I was in high school, we filed bankruptcy. Almost lost a house. I mean, my grandfather had to step in with loans. It was bad. It was just bad. My dad. It was so bad. My dad had a racehorse. It raced at Prescott Downs.
Wow.
Yeah, which was rad for me because my parents were gone every weekend. I had the house to myself every weekend for like the second half of my junior year.
Man, if only I'd known you for about 37 years.
Wow.
Instead of only the 17.
Holy mackerel. But check this out. So in Vegas, I really don't. And I do I like playing blackjack a little bit. And I love getting into those, like, $50 or whatever buys you into like the big real Vegas, like poker tournaments. I just think it's fun. Half the day you're just there having fun and just goofing around and doing the thing. So I'm not opposed to gambling by any stretch, but I do have to draw a line. Rob and I represented DraftKings for a hot minute, and we had fun. We had fun playing on the app, and we didn't play big. As a matter of fact, I'm still going to do it this season. I'm going to do $5 bets each NFL game, only betting on the favorite. Only betting on see if that even, because it should work.
I like it
because these guys are really good at what they do. So bet on that. So anyway, I'm not opposed to it by any stretch until I take my kids to Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's now. I don't know if you all know this. Dave and Buster's, you can gamble. You can gamble now. They're allowing you to bet on video games. You can bet each other. This is like going to a bookie. It's like playing craps in the it's like playing craps in the backyard. It's unbelievable. Now, I mean, just getting their hands in it. The states where gambling's legal. Let's go. Dave and Buster's getting in on it. I ain't mad at the business model for them from a profit standpoint, but damn, talk about getting kids young. You have to be over 18 to wager in. Please. That's like, I think I've been to a website or two where you have to click I'm over 18. Been there, done that. Doesn't work. I don't know. This isn't sitting well with me as a dad.
Yeah, and I could get that, but this is kind of the society that we're building. It's kind of funny because you mentioned childhood, because the way I kind of understand my own life now is if I go back to childhood, I had certain points of view, and those points of view were formed by my 7 or 8-year-old self, points of view that I kept in place for a very long time. And those points of view, not always right. Bad interpretations of some things that happened, right? So in understanding those 7 or 8-year-old interpretations and how they made me view the world, they impact me still to this day.
Yeah.
So that's to Mike's point about getting kids early and what you surround your kids with and what the language that they hear is, because they're exposed to a gazillion times more stuff than we are because of these things right here. Exactly. So that's a huge challenge because the hooks that you put on yourself get earlier and earlier. So if you start gambling at 12 before your brain is really developed at all, what happens to you at 32?
Okay. I got to tell a story.
Ooh, yay.
So I think it was 6th grade, might have been 7th. sixth, yeah, sixth, seventh. Let's just call it sixth. My parents had this cup, this yellow cup, and they had a business where they dealt with cash a lot. They had a wheel company, people coming in cash, so they always had cash, and all of the ones that they would get, they would put in this yellow cup that was in the pantry. And that was where my sister and I would just grab our lunch money for the day. We just take a few bucks out, and that was our lunch money for the day. We just grab your lunch money. We just go grab the lunch money. So I thought, as a buddy of mine, he's like, man, he's like, I really wanted to grab whatever. Bing. Hold on a second. If I grab $2 more out of this thing, I can loan it to my buddy, run points on this, and get it back the next couple of days. No lie. I got busted for loan sharking in 6th grade. I got busted for loan sharking. All I wanted was a go-kart. I was like, all I have to do is get $500. If I get to the $500, I get the coolest go-kart anyone's ever seen. Because you think about back in those days, I mean, it was in the 80s. So, I mean, $500, that's a hell of a go-kart. So I was like, I just got to keep saving up. And I was killing it. Okay. Then I got caught, and so yeah, there you go. But anyway, so I'm thinking about me at Dave and Buster's as a 6th grader.
Oh yeah,
I straight mob, man. Are you kidding me?
Let's go in there with the dollar bills. You need more.
Yo, I would not be here right now. I would be in jail. If I had that opportunity and that mindset that I had in 6th grade.
Good point.
Oh man,
that's a fantastic point. But that's how the 6th grade mind works. It works differently than an adult brain. It's supposed to work differently than an adult brain, which is why it's not a great idea to expose them to adult things early in life, because let them not worry about adult stuff. Yeah. The world's crazy enough as it is. Let them worry about it when they become adults, not when they're 12.
Right. But I don't even think it's a worry to them. It's just like it's right because it's at Dave and Buster's.
Absolutely.
Like, why is it? It can't be wrong. I'm here at a kid's arcade and I'm gambling. So why is that? That doesn't make it wrong, right? It's not like back in the day where you had to go to the back of the movie place where you go around, and they had those saloon doors that squeaked really loud. You didn't have to put effort into being nefarious. Here, like you're looking around, you're like, what? Everybody's gambling. Everybody is. It's not like a smoky room in the back where they're running a poker game.
Yeah, right.
It's an arcade, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see how this all transforms, this technological age, in about 20 years when these kids become adults and they have real jobs and they have to think about how to support themselves. Because I assume not every 32-year-old wants to continue living with mom and dad.
No. Well, actually, maybe. I mean, what are we instilling? Is it a work ethic into the kids? We're not instilling any of that noise. That's why I followed Dana White. Dana White said, look, he tells his kids, if you're the least bit savage, you'll run the table with any of these snowflakes running around here. You really will.
It's very true. I mean, just look at all the college protests, the kids that were protesting for the Palestinian rights while ordering Uber Eats. That's just ridiculous on the surface. The Palestinians are literally being starved and shut out and shot at.
Yeah.
And they have to move from their houses because there's a war. And these kids think occupying a square inside a college campus with the ability to order food on your app is standing up for the rights of injustice around the world. Okay.
Try showing any of these little snowflakes, these very misinformed morons that are doing this. Let me put it this way. Mike's growing a little bit. I'm growing. I do commend them for having a passion, and that's really where it stops. But I do. Okay, this is their chance to be heard. This is their spot. This is what they're excited about, and this is what they're going to run with. I kind of go with the Jerry Seinfeld Duke commencement speech. It's like, good, be passionate, do that. It's okay, stay peaceful, do your thing, but don't lose your sense of humor. I just love that. I commend them for that. But here's the deal. You show any of them. 2 videos I have on my phone, and Rob knows I was having technical difficulties. I'd have this for you, and hopefully I have it for you by Friday. Both Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton explaining that when he was the president and she was Secretary of State, the offer was on the table. the entire chunk of land, and by the way, an economy. And there was some kind of plants and growing things that they had going on where they could actually have an economy and have commerce. Everything's going on. Build you a port. Everything, we're going to pull a port in here, guys. Everything's going to be great. We're going to have an airport. Everything's fine. We're going to do this. Let's go. What? Oh, by the way, we're also going to kick out 50,000 Israelis, which they did anyway. We're going to kick out 50,000 Israelis. So they go to their place and you guys have this all to yourself. And they said, no. The Ayatollah said no. So they said no. Hamas came in and go, oh, hell no. No, how are we going to run this place and be terrorists? If you want us to actually run like an economy and stuff like that, we can't. Please save it. Look at the Bible. Here's the story. We win. So that's you show any of these kids these videos, and they will not want to see. There's nope. But what about the baby I saw that died? What about that kid? Did you see the picture of that kid that had the rubble on top of him? He was on a table.
Mm-mm.
Did you see this? Media was running with this. The terrors of war, and this kid had blood all over him. He's laying on this table, and he had bricks and like stuff on top of him. Because of the internet is what it is. That wasn't just a picture of a kid. That kid got up smiling and laughing with the camera crew around him.
Again, what you see is most likely not real, or a fraction of reality that they want you to think is full reality. Like a headline. Why is everyone in Gen Z lazy? Okay, first of all, not everyone in Gen Z is lazy. Just on its surface, that's ridiculous. And if you've interacted with 2 people from Gen Z, there's about, 30 million more that you're missing out on. You can't judge a whole group based on 2 interactions, but we love to because that's how our brains and our minds work. And even Rhonda put it in here that some people do like, Mike, to be told what to think because it's easier. Just like we're kind of told it's easier to pick 2 presidential candidates and just vote for one than it is to think about 5. But it's not that complicated. It's not that complex. We just do like to whittle it down and make it easy on ourselves and then complain about how crappy everything is.
Oh, yeah. Or we're going to turn a blind eye. How long have we been saying that all these migrants are here because they're going to be Democrat voters? Remember? And then we said, nah, how do we guarantee that they're going to vote Democrat? And how are we going to this and that? And they're not going to get the right to vote. They got to get in line with everybody else. Oh, no. Come to find out that legally, if they feel, and this is written, if they feel as if they are a U.S. citizen, they can vote in a federal election to be counted. Damn. We didn't see that one coming, but we thought, oh yeah, that's why they're doing it. They're just doing this to get doing this to get a couple more votes. You know what I mean? No, actually swinging entire states as it kind of puts the pieces of the puzzle to why they're being flown to certain states and not others.
Well, but you have to see, this goes back to the zoom out principle and how politics really works. Democrats like to expand voter rights because they're able to easily find people to fill out a ballot on the spot. They get to take it and mail it in. Democrats have a whole system for that across the United States. So they get these bonus votes because they go out and do it. Republicans, on the other side, they like to restrict those types of things. So instead of having a system that's similar, we're like, hey, you're a new voter. You should vote Republican because of this, and this. Can I help you fill out your ballot? We don't do that. So we try to, our side restricts that. The goal is the same, to use the laws and the power to win elections, to make it easier for my party to win elections. So that just means to me, meanwhile, while we're doing the 3-card Molly is
Monty.
a rap. I know, Monty. The
Yeah.
reason I call it 3-card Molly, because it is a rap song that I used to play on my hip hop show. I just remembered. So 3-card Monty.
Okay.
The game is always here comes the migrants. They're going to vote Democrat. Boop, 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 boop. Meanwhile, 17 years ago, this law was passed that allows it to happen. Why were we not paying attention to the law that was passed 17 years ago? Because the hat keeps moving around. So when they move the hat around and they cover up information, you only get a limited picture, not the full picture. Because if you got the full picture of how bad it is, you might start thinking differently. But they don't want you to think differently. They want you to adopt the group think. They want you to drop the party think so that you're convinced that you're on the right side. And who are you on the right side for? You or people that got billions of dollars to make off the money you send to Washington? I
That's
know
fine.
my answer.
Okay.
At least my opinion, anyways.
Okay, and then if we just want to stick to the absurd as far as protests go, I don't know if you saw this, but I just had to look it up because I wanted to make sure before I talked about this that I did read this right this morning. The Disrupt Tesla movement. Have you heard this?
I haven't heard that term.
Yes, the German potential German Tesla plant is being protested and overrun by young protesters. I thought Tesla was. I wait a second. I thought Tesla was it. I thought Tesla was the cool kid. I thought Tesla was where they're saving the planet. Tesla, right?
Well, that was only when Elon Musk, who helped bring us Tesla, it was only when he was perceived to be on the side of climate change.
Oh, okay.
Now that he's open-minded, can't like him anymore.
Can't like him because he can't like anybody. To be honest, can't like anyone to ask questions. If you ask questions, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you ask questions, you cannot be liked. If you ask questions, you get protested. And I think that these are legitimate questions that even if you're truly seeking. Rob and I used to work with a guy that was just a very interesting individual. And again, our last interaction with him was just absolutely absurd. And he had some issues. But I'll tell you that for the most part, the shows that I've done with him, any interactions I've had with him, the man asks a lot of questions. And he's genuinely asking questions for genuine answers. He asks a lot of questions. And I was always impressed by that because he really wanted to know things. He was really genuinely interested in other people. Some a little bit too much, but whatever. We're going to keep going on that. And now, if I ask questions, if I genuinely want to know, okay, I want to get to the bottom of what's causing climate change. No, it's humans. Okay, good. I genuinely want to get to the bottom of how humans are causing climate change. It's carbon emissions. Okay, I genuinely want to get to the bottom of how. If I ask questions, I'm going against their narrative. Their narrative is just take what we say as settled science and that's it. If you disagree or even question, forget about even disagreeing. I'm a climate denier because I want to know why 0.04% of anything is able to change its entirety. I want to know. Can a scientist tell me that? And then I'm on board. But I can't ask the question. I'm just called a denier. So no, you need to shut up. I can't even seek information anymore, which is what Elon Musk is a Jedi at, is just absorbing information. That's why he asks questions.
It's a good point to bring up, Mike, because it shows that most of us don't really know what we're talking about, if we're being honest. I'm an expert at one thing, how to do radio show. That's what I spent most of my time doing, preparing for. I'm an expert in that. Along the way, I gathered a lot of knowledge about government, politicians, how the whole game and system works. But I have a limited window of knowledge into that, as in I was not inside, right? I was not in Congress, didn't work for a staffer. Schweiker just told us a bunch, some other politicians too, about how the system really works. So this is why I find this all so fascinating of how we label each other. Because most of us don't have the aptitude or the attention span to read boring stuff about carbon emissions. So we just regurgitate what we see on TV and Twitter and Facebook. And I'm guilty of it too, because that's what we are. We exchange information. But where you start to judge me is where you start to lose me, especially given that I understand what my limited knowledge base truly is. So if I were to even believe that climate change is real and caused by man, I don't really know how to explain why. Because I'm not scientific, I'm not technical, I've not read research papers and got an advanced degree in climatology. Oh, and by the way, the people that got advanced degrees in virology, how well did they do when a virus came up?
I did pretty well, Dr. Lena Wynn here.
Exactly.
My book, two-time best-selling author.
She did great.
She made a lot of money for herself. But I popped a hole in my own bubble of what I think I know. And to understand that I have a very limited options to even pick up information. So what is it that I really know? I know that I'm alive. I know that I have good friends. I know that we get to hang out a couple times a week, soon to be more, here with my main man, Mike Russell. And we get to try to figure out how to best live our lives. And I think that is ultimately the best gift that we all get, is we have that freedom to do that in this country.
I want to know how Lynn's going to research that subject. I heard the cows don't fight.
Field research.
No, just field research. Just go to the butcher. Just go to the butcher and be like, no, I've tried every piece of steak in here. I didn't hear any farts. That would be my research right there. It'd be the butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
go to a source, right? A butcher. What has he done for 20 years? Been chopping up meat. He knows the cow. He knows the chicken. He knows the pork. Knows what to do.
Speaking of clown world, did you hear the new iOS update on your iPhone? Is going to remove something from your phone.
Really?
Ready for this? You just I'll just tell you. It's an emoji. Remember they already eliminated the firearm emoji.
Yeah.
Remember the cool gun? He had 1911 on there. It was beautiful. And they had a revolver. It was great. Now they have a water pistol.
I know. It's hard to even find.
The clown emoji.
The clown emoji
is going away because it's used as a right-wing dog whistle in telephonic communication.
Oh, okay. So the right-wingers won't come up with a new one when you eliminate it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we've gone from the clown to the poop emoji.
Is that just okay? Now, okay, if you are triggered by a clown, you're a clown. If you are triggered that someone's describing you as a clown emoji, or your ideology or your side is a clown emoji, if you're upset about that, you're upset about it because it's true. If somebody tells me that I'm I don't know, a crappy lacrosse player, am I triggered by that? No, I don't even know the rules of lacrosse. I don't even know why. There's a lot of running involved and banging and things, and I don't whatever. And my kid had a lacrosse stick, and it's hard. It's not easy, but I'm not offended by it because I am. You're offended by it. You're offended because you are a clown. This is what it is. Yeah.
Usually what bothers you the most is indicative of something. That is definitely true. That's what I found myself too.
Yeah.
And this is what I find so fascinating, even bringing the young people, is that how much of their own mental well-being they give other people who can say clown and you freak out. You don't think that you're the problem, not them, because you can't control what they say no matter what. You can pass a law, you can't say clown. Yeah,
what
are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna arrest me for saying clown?
Well, yeah, but I mean, how far off is that? How far off is that from somebody saying, I believe in the nuclear family? I think that women that are graduating this university should have a lot of kids. That's going to be their greatest achievement above anything they can in the work world and workforce. The dude almost lost his job. Taking away a man's livelihood because of something he says is probably one of the most un-American things you could possibly think of, a clear-cut violation of the First Amendment. But I mean, well, it would be if the government was involved. But I don't think we're far off from that. Anything that offends me, I need to eliminate.
Well, and I mean, you look at human nature. That's what human nature always has been. It's always been about control. It's always been about, I'm a king ordained by God. I make the rules. So if I don't like you saying clown, you can't say clown. And if you say clown, I'll chop your arm off. We always resort to this safety of those in power and what it is that they want. So if young people take over and get their way, First Amendment's dead because they don't respect it. They don't appreciate it. They've been taught the opposite, that's not sticks and stones anymore. It's just the words. Shatter the glass house, so therefore ban the words. You can't ban the words, no matter what law you pass. Just like you can't, murder didn't stop because we made a law. People still murder each other all the time, every day. But it's a law. It's against the law. Yeah, the laws don't stop it. Laws are just punishments for when you do the thing in the law. So it's completely ridiculous, but it is those lessons to learn for all of us. This is always the revert back to. We revert back to our animalistic ways when we grew up in the Middle Ages and started living in societies and started protecting each other from things that make us unsafe. And now we're so safe, emotions are safety. Because you think about I was reading this analysis. The New York Times put out all these crime stats, homicides, everywhere where there was a homicide in the United States over a couple of year period. So naturally I look because Mike knows I'm kind of like economically challenged adjacent.
No, you're there. You're
Yeah.
there. Mhm.
I hear gunshots, I don't know, 2-3 times a year down the street. So am I unsafe because I hear gunshots? Not really, because they're not on my street. But it's closer, so it might make me think I'm not safe. So I look at this crime stat, and there was like one murder down the street, and then there's like one murder up the street. I'm like, but what is this actually telling me? Nothing. It's telling me something that happened. If there were 37 murders last weekend, I'd be in the south side of Chicago. It'd be a little bit different.
All right.
But it's one random murder that happened in 2022 a mile from my house. It doesn't make me unsafe. So I have to feel unsafe about something.
Remember when Jack in the Box was killing people?
Oh, yeah.
Remember early 90s?
Yeah.
I ate there almost every single day because I could get 2 Jumbo Jacks, fries, and like a Coke for $1.99. Like they were giving food away. I was like, I am in heaven right now. I ate more Jack in the Box. Yeah, because they were undercooked a patty and it made somebody sick, and one of the sick or made a couple people sick, and one of the couple people died. And then it's now, yeah. Remember the same as McDonald's giving away coffee.
Bingo.
Coffee was damn near free after they burned that lady up. And by the way, just so you know, I don't know if you'll know this. That was a legitimate claim.
It was very legitimate.
That was a very legitimate claim. That was not just, I spilled my coffee and I sued McDonald's. She had to have genitalia reconstructive surgery. And this is an old lady. So this was a beyond any kind of safe liquid that was handed her. So
that's
it really was.
Example of the 3-card Monty again, right? We've been, because I was told that, someone sued McDonald's because they spilled hot coffee on themselves. No, it burned through the styrofoam cup. That's how hot it was.
Yeah.
Like that's not good.
I always tripped out my grandparents every time. They love McDonald's. I was that kid always got in the stocking, got from the grandparents, always got the little booklets, the coupon book, $5 coupon
so
books.
Great.
Oh yeah. And so we went to McDonald's all the time, and they would order their coffee hot, and then they would go back and they'd say it's not hot enough. And I'm like, are you bleeping kidding me? I couldn't even hold the tray that had the coffee on it because the tray was melting. And now you want it hotter. And this poor kid behind the counter is like, right. Okay, I'll make it hotter. I don't know how. Is
there a temperature gauge in the coffee pot?
Please, just bring out anybody got a flamethrower? We really got to bring this there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got it out the back. Sorry, I was
here.
recharging the flame.
The Russells are here, and Fran isn't having it. Fran isn't having this cold coffee crap.
He wants his 400-degree surface of the sun coffee. Here it is.
Good Lord. All right, let's get to this because it has to happen. We've got to talk about this because an age-old debate went to court.
Oh.
And apparently I didn't know it was an age-old debate, but apparently it's an age-old debate, so much so that it had to go to court. It went to court in Indiana, and a judge has finally ruled, and by the way, this is the most American of American things. If you want to settle something, fine, take it to court. Cool. Let our judicial system work it out, work it all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they stamp it. That is the way of the land. That is it. Until it's challenged, that's it. So from here on out, I would like to celebrate Taco Tuesday sandwich. Taco Sandwich Tuesday. Or Burrito Sandwich Wednesday. Because a judge has ruled in Indiana that a taco and a burrito are, in fact, sandwiches. Literally, this was on the court docket. Attorneys took this up. And by the way, and if it was just two like best buddy attorneys or like competing law firms or something like that, and they're like, dude, whatever, let's just do it. Let's just come on. We know Judge Harris over here. We know he's gonna take the case because we went to law school with him. Oh, we're gonna get this guy. Oh, it's gonna be great. But hey, it's settled science now. But I don't like what he did. Because a taco is not a sandwich, for the love of grief. It just isn't. I mean, it's a folded and intact. It's nachos with his blank put together. You know what I'm saying? He's got his stuff together, right?
If you went to a New York deli, you get a sandwich. You don't get a taco because it's not a sandwich.
Right. It's not, but we also have a taco salad, which is a 3,000 calorie salad, which is perfect because you're eating a salad. So tacos are great things. Taco can be a salad. Taco cannot be a sandwich. Neither can a burrito. But he said, this bozo in Indiana, this is how we settled it. It does not settle at all. That a taco is a Mexican style sandwich. A burrito is a Mexican style sandwich. And how burrito got lumped in there, I have no idea. A sandwich, by definition, is something sandwiched in between two pieces of bread. Last I checked, a tortilla is not bread. Is it bread?
And it's only one. The taco shell is one whole thing.
It's glorious, but yeah, it is.
I know, and there's no offense. I eat taco every day. No big deal.
Damn right.
Yep. I'm not. Just keep the taco a separate thing. We got tacos, we got burritos, we got sandwiches. They're all separate categories. What's the problem?
But here's the gig. Because I escaped Southern California. This is where I was born and raised. In Southern California, let me put it this way, any state outside of California, every menu has something that's California style. And that means it has sprouts or avocado on it, or both. And that makes it California style. And it could be anything. So, I mean, I understand where the kind of the precedent was set by things like that. And then you have like Detroit style pizza, Chicago style pizza, New York style pizza. There's styles of it. And so I guess you can pull a muscle stretching for style of sandwich and put taco in there. I just don't see it. And this is one of the things where I'm like, heading right to the appeals court where we're filing the appeal immediately.
Keep tacos separate.
We just let tacos. Tacos are my favorite food group. And in that food group that I have described to Rob several times, how many items are in the taco food group, never was there a sandwich.
No. Mm-mm.
You don't go to Jimmy John's and order the number 12 taco.
No.
You go to Jimmy John's and order the number 12 California style. It's got the cucumber and the avocado in it. So, hey, mad at that. No, I'm not mad at that.
I think this is, in one way, a great story, and in one way, a tragic story. Because
why tragic?
Why is this in court? This is like, we sue everything. Everything's got to be settled by a judge. Judges have become, I didn't even know, way too powerful. And like, oh, I will get to determine. Oh, my goodness. Probably some lawsuit about, a way a sandwich is supposed to be and see if they fit it in. Who knows? It's always about money.
But I'm on board, though. Make this like, and I've said this going back to basically our world of politics and how it's changed, and basically how we run the system of governance in the nation. That the more we can take instances that have to do with politicians, elected officials, and social media, the higher we can get those decisions in courts, then we finally can establish the real rules of the road when it comes to an entirely new media that the founding fathers had no idea would even be a thing. So if we can see how they use cable news media, if we can regulate not regulate, but at least I guess legislate how they can and cannot use those types of media, whether it's internet or social media or the 24-hour news media, the better we are if we get to a certain set of rules. And you can only do that through getting it up to the Supreme Court. That's the only way you can do it. And like same with Trump. Trump blocked people from his Twitter account. And the Supreme Court said, dude, you can't do that. It's a flagrant violation of the First Amendment. And they can petition their government. That's you, champ.
I should have ignored him like Biden ignores Supreme Court decisions. Because what's the punishment? What are they going to do?
Watch me block them all. I'll block them all.
Yeah, well, and that's what Biden proved. Like, yeah, the Supreme Court can do stuff and can make a ruling, but it still requires someone to hold someone accountable for violating the law. And that could be you as a voter. I'm just saying, because ultimately we are the final arbiter of what happens in this country. We just need to take some responsibility on that and say, let's do this, baby.
It's a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich. We'll determine it, not you.
It's definitely not a sandwich at all. But it reminded me when you said that Trump should have just kept blocking people. It reminded me of one of the first times I had Congressman Schweikert in our studio. And Rob will remember this too. I said, David, don't push that button. And he just started like rapid fire hitting the button as many times as he possibly could. I was like, well, damn.
Yep.
That was
not the president. Sir, you can't press this button.
Please don't press the button, sir. I'll show you. Don't tell me what to do.
He would even say that. Don't make me president because I love pressing buttons.
Oh my gosh. Seriously. And that's why I'm so surprised we can pull this live streaming thing off that we do, dude. I really do. Because me pushing buttons, Rob is more technology advanced than I am. I buttons and me, tech and me just don't. Nope. But
no, it's
we
the
pull it off.
exact opposite of the radio days. You do all the tech stuff. I just show up and like hang out and press my mic button. I'm like, ready to go. Let's do it.
Yeah, and see, here's the deal though. There was a little bit of the older brother, little brother kind of thing in that. Because you see, if you never want to do laundry in a relationship, you take the brightest, newest red shirt you can and you put it in with the whites, and you'll never be asked to do laundry again. You see, I established this. I don't push buttons. Tech hates me. All I had to do is show up and talk.
Yes. Good thing.
Rob's like, damn, you got me.
I know.
For 3.5 years, you got me. Yeah. But Rob, he's done everything in radio. And board operating is the only job really I didn't do in radio. And because I don't have the attention span to, I really, truly don't. People say, oh, it's so easy. I'm like, I'm looking at those guys doing that. I don't, timing things out and all that and pushing this button and that button and what goes on air is your fault. And nope.
The timing of things is always the worst. You got to like, okay, how much is this? You got to do it in minutes and seconds. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, there's the metric system in there for some reason. We don't even know. It has to do with time.
But then our friend Andrew Babinski introduced me to the calculator that does time. And I'm like, oh, awesome. So it just made it a little bit easier. Because, you know, you're trying to concentrate on the show. You're not trying to do math. So you just type in, okay, there's 2 minutes and 30 seconds worth of commercials. There's a 20-second promo. There's a 5-second liner. Okay, I need to be out at this time. Boom, done.
But I mean, that would probably be the easiest thing for me. Math is, Rob would test this. Maths, I'm good at that. I do that crap in my head. I'm good at math. Just the pushing buttons thing, man.
Here we go. See, that's why a good team. You do the math, I'll press the button. Tell me when.
Okay. All right.
I have one more story I want to share.
Okay, please do, please.
Quick
and then we'll get to some of these comments here.
It involves the United States Postal Service. A worker has been busted in his UPS truck because this Postal Service employee wanted to race a Mustang, and they were both caught at 100+ miles per hour. I had no idea a postal truck could go over 100 miles an hour. I love this story. That person should be the postal hero of the decade.
Going postal now means going fast. Going fast.
Love it.
Yeah, my grandmother was the first female mail carrier to retire in the state of California.
Really?
Yep. Good old Frances Russell there.
How about that?
You know, let me tell you something. If it can get up to 100, she got that damn thing up to 100. I guarantee you. Woo! Holy cow. But it reminds me of, like, that dude was obviously going to quit. That was like his last day. He was like, dude, watch. I'm just going to have some fun. It reminds me of that guy. Oh God, who was it? Was it JetBlue? I think it was JetBlue or Spirit or one of those little offshoot airlines or something like that, where the guy got on the horn, addressed the entire plane and quit. He basically just gave this speech about quit. They're on the tarmac. They're moving towards the runway. He is telling everybody how he's going to quit. And so obviously they stop the plane. He opens the door, pops the chute. The slide that goes down. Then he comes back up the chute, grabs 2 beers out of the fridge, and then slides his butt down there. He's out of here. Gone. He quit like that. If you're going to quit, damn it, do that, because that is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with the way to quit. And if you're going to quit as a mail carrier, just, okay, we're drag racing. Let's go. I'm going to get this little, I am still shocked that those could do 100 miles an hour.
I'm sure it was screaming loudly.
I mean, yeah, it's done. Like the wheels just coming off of the thing.
Mail's flying out the back. Sorry, Hunter, there's your mail. There's your unwanted mail that we put in your mailbox.
That's what he did. He got in front of the Mustang and he just hit the button and the doors open. It's like a bat smoke screen. He's gone. Holy mackerel. All right, here, let's get to some of this stuff. What do we got here? Yeah. Reagan's first going for. There's Grizz said there was one bar in Abu Dhabi during the first Gulf War. It was a British hotel. What's this? Abu Dhabi?
That goes back to
Bahrain.
Yeah,
Bahrain. Okay, got it. Yeah.
In the Middle East. So yeah, apparently he had to go to the British hotel.
The British, which makes sense. Go to pub.
Yeah,
we're gonna head to pub. Yeah. That like they say in Snatch, you guys spawn the language. No one here speaks it. Yeah. That's what we hear when we talk about the media's one soap opera at this point. Who cares the hyperbole? It really is the Musha. Del, that's a brilliant point. And it really is. It is a soap opera. You look at what I believe, Rob, you covered on Friday. And again, thanks for stepping in for me. But I think you covered the MTG stuff. Yeah, the Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC and Plaskin fight. And I think Plaskin was in there too, right? I mean, it was just absolute. It was absurdity. But it actually got me excited. Because Rob will test this. I want it to be more like Parliament. I want to fight and yelling, hollering, chucking stuff. Somebody come over the top ropes. I'm all about that noise. Let's go.
I used to. Now I'm just bored by the whole thing because it's been
that'll make it less boring.
Years. Well,
that'll make
it
it less
wasn't even
boring.
like an entertaining fight. It was just a base level fake eyelashes. Then an AOC calls her baby girl and says we don't insult each other's appearances. And then the Democrat insults Marjorie Taylor Greene's appearance. So I'm like, okay.
No, but Rhonda says, let's go with Jerry Springer style. I'm saying we, get the security guards out there to break out the fights. Maybe some Geraldo, somebody gets a chair chucked at their beak. I think that is a fantastic idea. I just say, why not? Again, because it makes it less boring. Maybe people will start paying attention to exactly what their politicians are saying and doing. Maybe. No.
Well, that's what they want. They definitely want attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely it. It's sad to say. So get to Grizz here. Sad to say people just love being told, yeah, you went to Catholic school and kicked me because you asked questions. You got kicked? Which I'm not a huge fan of the Catholic Church, but I will tell you that if you could pop a kid for popping off, because intern Sarah is now a 6th grade teacher in public school here in the West Valley. I'm sure she's thought of it. I'm sure her uncle, me, has very much wished that she could. And the parents as well.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, pop the parents is what I mean.
Oh,
bozos. Oh,
probably why you want to pop kids, because
that's exactly why we have a teacher shortage. It has nothing to do with kids, because kids are kids. They're little hellions. They don't have developed brains. They're just acting on hormones and they're all just idiots. They are. Parents who should know better are the problem in why we have a teacher shortage, period.
And why we have messed up kids.
Yes.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
can't blame me. I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids to screw up yet.
No, he's trying to screw up mine.
That's exactly
right. By the
way,
no, what big celebration, big congratulations. Speaking of my kids, the intern Nuge, he got a job.
He did.
He is gainfully employed. Starts Wednesday. Did his orientation this weekend. I was so proud.
What area of work is he stepping into?
He is going to be a greeter, going to move up to a server at a local eatery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm definitely going to go in and be like, Nuge.
Yeah, Nuge. Where's Nuge?
Table.
Intern Nuge. Where you at, bud?
I want that table right there. I know there's people there. I want you to kick them out. It's your Uncle Rob here.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm stoked to get a discount. Which is funny, you get the family discount there, and the family discount takes the prices somewhere around where they used to be 3 years ago.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Cool. So you're saving inflation. Good job.
Exactly.
The inflation buster. I beat inflation. I go there all the time, every day. It's the cheapest meal I can get.
Yeah, well, he was telling me what jobs and what restaurants and stuff he's going to apply for, and I was like, okay, I'll allow it. Okay, I'll allow that one. Like, no, don't wait. No, I don't want to eat there. Yeah, no. Not like Uncle Rob with the OG. Olive Garden.
Good Italian cooking right there.
What's that?
Good Italian cooking.
Great Italian cooking. If there were any Italians within 50 feet of you, you would have been punched right there.
Oh, absolutely. Which is why I said it.
Holy yes.
Hey, man, the food ain't bad. It's good. It's consistent. And it's just Americanized Italian food.
I hear that. All right, Grizz, and said Mrs. Grizz is a teacher. Yeah. Yeah. And it is. They get it from the parents. Of course they get it from the parents. I mean, Intercer actually has a hat because this is her first year teaching. The funniest hat I've seen in a long time. It says, quite literally, my first rodeo.
And it's a rodeo.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Hang on for dear life.
God save us all. I tell you. All right, everybody. Hey, we're going to do this again. We're working on some cool stuff for June. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more of us and a lot less of the noise and just stuff that's just cool to talk about and stuff that actually matters to us. What do you think about that? So that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned for that. Friday Nooner is going to happen at noon on Friday. Hey, guess you see how that works. All right. He's Rob. I'm Mike. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for spending